Hello, everybody. Welcome to Most Wanted Topics. I'm your host, Kevin the Tank. Along with me, filling in for Atomic Tommy, is the mighty Mafu. Mafu, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
You know, not bad, not bad. You're excited to be in the chair.
I am.
You're back in action, ready to roll. How's school going for you?
It's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Well, it's high school. What do you expect?
It's high school. What do you expect? But you know it's going to make you feel better?
Talking comics.
Talking comics, okay. You know, it was a light week for comics this week, but your favorite comic book did come out this week, Transformers.
And I love Transformers.
Of course, you love Transformers. Why don't you do a little recap of Transformers for us?
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about mostly the ending and the Megatron.
Let's do it.
Scene. So, at the end, you know, Starscream and Soundwave are still fighting from the last issue in their battle over the city. Devastator gives an RKO to Bruticus. And when they're fighting, Starscream rips out Ravage, and then Megatron is like, Soundwave, Starscream, enough. And Starscream is like, how did you survive? Basically. And then, you know, Megatron basically takes Ravage and revives him with his spark. And you are a loyal pet, and so is your father. And so rise Soundwave, because they have Autobots to kill. And that's setting up how Megatron's going to return to fighting Optimus Prime, and because that's what I wanted to see is Optimus Prime versus Megatron in this comic. And I hope in the next issue we get to see how Megatron got injured, because in Cobra Commander, I think it was issue 1, you saw Megatron a little busted up. So I want to know how he was busted up and how he was, lost his sight.
Well, hopefully next issue they talk about that.
Hopefully.
Get a closure for that for you. You know what? We didn't not only dig into the comics we got to talk about, we got to talk about some vintage toys we got in.
Yes, we do.
If you're a G.I. Joe fan, we got some vintage toys. Tell us about those in the shop.
We got the vintage 1987 Cobra Imp tank, and that's a pretty cool toy, in that transition year from real-life military to more sci-fi. Some of the later stuff is cool. But also, we got the common Hiss tank, which is always a popular vehicle. But what's special about this one is how the tab that holds the cannons up isn't broken. So you can literally elevate the cannons and they won't flop down, which is what you see all the time in a Hiss tank, which is pretty rare.
It is, because they always come broken. But this is a really nice Hiss tank. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check out our vintage toys and Most Wanted Comics, as well as our comic selection.
We have great comics.
A lot of back issues, and of course, new comics every week. And we do have a pull list service. So if you want to get a pull at the shop, you can always do that as well. Okay, so coming out this week, we have a little bit of a heavier load coming this week, and filling in for Tommy's gonna be tough because his favorite book is coming out this week.
Yes, so he can't talk about it.
Yeah, his favorite character, The Flash. So Absolute Flash #1 is coming out, and then of course another book that Atomic Tommy recommends, and I recommend. This has really been a fun book, Rocket Fellers. If you like Lost in Space and and the new Netflix series that they did with Lost in Space, you're gonna love this story. It's really well written. The art is pretty good. The whole story is just awesome. So I highly recommend Rocket Fellers. If you haven't read it, give it a read, because it's definitely worth it. Absolute Batman, of course, comes out. We're going Ultimate X-Men, and of course your favorite and my favorite, G.I. Joe.
Both the 300 number and this new series is really good.
Yeah, I mean, both the series are good, and I highly recommend you pick them up if you haven't. So that's coming out this week to look forward to. You can, for all your new comics, make sure you check out Most Wanted Comics to come to the shop and check it out. Also, we have to do some housekeeping now.
Yes,
we have some big things coming up. Let's talk about our appearance first, because of course our signings continue. We have a big one on Saturday, the 22nd. Our favorite Rock and Roll Express, 2 legendary Hall of Famers.
Tag team, from that old school wrestling. So before WWF.
From Territory Wrestling all the way up to WWF. This is Mid-South at its best. Ricky and Robert will be at Most Wanted Comics from 10 to 2, signing autographs, taking selfies, and we have some fun stuff. If you don't have anything to get signed and you're worried about, man, I know I got to pay to get both their autographs, but what am I going to have them sign? And the figures are so expensive.
Don't worry, we got you.
We got you covered. We got 8x10s. We've got some cool records, and we got some really, really cool bandanas. So I tell you what, if you don't have anything, don't worry. Most Wanted Comics and the guys have you covered with the stuff that they're bringing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure that you check out Most Wanted Comics on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Have fun with some legendary tag team wrestlers. Hear a story, take a selfie, get an autograph. The package is $50. You get both of their autographs plus a selfie with them. So a really good deal.
Package deal.
It's a package deal. So you get, it doesn't include the item. You have to bring your own item. Otherwise, like I said, we have stuff at the shop if you have nothing to get signed. But $50 gets both of their autographs and a selfie with them. And you get to hear a story or two. You get to talk to them for a little bit. We don't just rush you through in 10 seconds. So
right,
you actually get a couple of minutes with these guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you show up and have a good time and meet these guys. And then also we have to talk about this week because it is madness season. It is bracket season. It is time for Most Wanted Madness at Most Wanted Comics. We have the bracket done and ready to go. If you want to play, it's free to play. There is no cost. And we have some great prizes to give away. First place this year gets a $35 gift certificate to Most Wanted Comics.
Buy just a lot of back issues with that.
Yeah. Second place gets $25 and third place gets $15. So we got gift certificates to the store to give away. And it's all a point system. So make sure you have all your brackets turned in by Sunday, March 23rd at 5 p.m. If you don't have access to email or Facebook, you can come to the shop and pick up a blank bracket, or you can download them from the website, mostwantedcomics.com. Make sure that you get your bracket in by Sunday the 23rd, 5 p.m. Fill it out, have fun with it, and then each week follow along on the podcast. And then we'll also post up on Facebook the results. And then at the very end, we'll give you who scored the best. And you can follow along with your own bracket. So make sure you make a copy for yourself before you send it in. But yeah, you can either drop it off in person or you can email it in. It doesn't matter. Just make sure your name is on it so we know who to award the gift certificate to when we announce the winner. All right, with that being said, have fun with this bracket, guys.
That's the whole point of it. It's just to have fun.
It's just to have fun. And we love doing this during the basketball time because we, bracketology is so fun, but not everybody likes to do the basketball brackets. So we did something with comic character related. And we should tell you, it's not the same characters as last year. We know everybody that did it had a lot of fun with last year's, but this year we did it a little different. And you can thank Atomic Tommy. Atomic Tommy put a lot of heart and soul into this, and I'm really proud of his work. It is going to be awesome. The divisions this year are brute strength, martial arts, meta, and tech. So those are the divisions.
See who comes out on top.
See who comes out of each one of those divisions, and see who the ultimate champion is at the end. So have fun with that, everybody. With that being said, we have another issue to talk about. This is a kind of in the early stages right now, but we heard a rumor and that they announced that they were going to remake Starship Troopers. And I had to bring this up because I was so shocked to hear that. And boy, was I upset. I was kind of upset about it because this is such a cult sci-fi movie. And it was so ahead of its time. It was so well done. I really don't think it can be remade. I really don't. If you agree with me, I want you first of all, smash the like button and subscribe to this because you get awesome topics here, Most Wanted Topics. And I tell you what, I want to know. I want you to light up the comment section. Let me know if this movie needs a remake or if it's fine the way it is and leave it the heck alone, because I would like to see it left alone. I think it is one of the perfect sci-fi movies. It had action. It had a love story. It had drama. It had comedy. It had everything you want in a great sci-fi film. And it was so well done. And the political messages were at the time in the early 90s when this movie was made, they had some real good forethought and radical ideas, like having to serve in the military or do service to get citizenship. And which, as people question today, as we get into the future, so many years after this movie was made, where people actually questioned, do we take citizenship for granted? Does there need to be some service? You know, so they were ahead of their time. Men and women were equal in the military. They were both in the front lines fighting. They were in the same, it didn't matter, showering, whatever. It wasn't brought about who was a man, who was a woman, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing rammed down your throat. It just was. And it was in the background. There was no message. It was no nothing. It was just a great movie all around. And the technology they were having with that too, because they knew it was coming, where everything was going to be digital and followed on your phone or online and everywhere, had access to AI. And so like they'd show the movie, like you'd be following along, they'd give you the headlines and then they'd ask, would you like to know more? And then you could click to dive in deeper to it on the computer. And they did it just like the new, it was so awesome how they did that. So they were really ahead of their time. And the special effects at the time, it was filmed, it was early in the CGI era. So you had some early CGI in green screen, as well as some modern stunts with puppets and things like that. So you had the right mixture. It was awesome the way it was, and it didn't look cheesy. It was definitely over the top, and that's how it's supposed to be. But it was just a great, and I just hope they don't ruin it with a remake and try to put stuff in there. You just can't replace Diz and Rico. It was the perfect casting for that. Everything was cool about it. I mean, come on. It was just... Anyway, light up the comment section. Let me know if that movie needs a remake or if it's fine the way it is. And we'd like to hear your thoughts on that. All right, you know what it's time for now? Shoutouts. You know what? We're going to lead out the shoutouts today with the ever so loving favorites, Matt and JD. Shout out to you guys. Dan, amazing Spider-Man fan. Shout out to you. Jimmy the Sousa. Shout out to you. Jamie, shout out to you, girl. And then, of course, Caleb. David, a.k.a. Superman fan, #1 fan. Hey, how you doing? Mark, Aquaman fan. Brian, Jeff, Ryan, Liz, Sheila, Rick, and Melissa. Shout out to you guys. Looking forward to seeing you bring you back from Tennessee. Rick and Melissa, always love you guys. Gostovich family, love you guys. We'll see you soon. We know you're coming for the Rock and Roll Express. We'll see you then. Of course, Pat, we'd love to say hi to Pat and the Dwyer family. You guys are great. Sydney, Dan, Dean, Shanice, Larry, and all the rest of everybody else in the Up North contingent. We'd like to say hi to Cindy and Joe out there. Shout out to you guys. What a great shout out. If you want to be on the shout out, just email in and say, hey, put me on the shout out list and we'll give you a shout out with that. So, all right, everybody, we hope you had a great week. We are looking forward to seeing you at the Rock and Roll Express. Make sure you get a bracket and have fun filling that out. And
don't miss out on the bracket.
Do not miss out on the bracket. And we will see you guys next week, everybody.